Ha! There you are. I thought I'd lost you for a minute. Good evening. I said good evening. Welcome to another edition of Talk About. It's a new, well, one of my shows. Welcome to another fantastic episode of Talk About. That's a good name for a show, isn't it? Talk About. To talk about things. Alright. I'm getting very threatened by the council. Well, not sort of threatened, but I'm very scared because someone's been dropping litter in my fucking flats in the hallway. Someone's been dropping beer and dropping litter in the hallway. I'm very scared because the council are very upset because someone stuck pepperoni wrappers and stuff. I'm having a little bit of problems. Alright, anyway, let's talk about Russell. He's dead. Actually, Russell dropped down dead in 2012. My best mate was really fucking beautiful mate of mine, Russell. He just dropped down dead in the supermarket in 2012. That was a bit of a bum. I was talking about Tommy, actually. I was thinking about Tommy. Well, Russell's dead, right? Russell is one of the best friends I've ever had. You know, he was the paper boy. I'm the postman, you see. I've known Russell since he was about, what, 14? 13? He might have been 13. I was working on I'm a postman. I'm still a postman. Actually, I'm still a postman. But when I was a postman, posting letters in the morning, that was about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning in those days. About 2. Long time ago. Anyway, Russell was the paper boy on the postal round, like, and he kept coming up to me and asking me for cigarettes, like, Russell Loads. I'm saying, that Russell Loads, right? He was about 13, 14. He was shoving newspapers. He was delivering newspapers. He was the paper boy, and I was the postman, right? They kept coming up to me and asking me for cigarettes every day. So I gave them a cigarette every day. Like. Anyway, after about a year, after the first year, so I must have met him in about 2002. He said to me, Bill, what do you do? I said, well, I make board games and sing songs and make films. And I said, do you mind if I come up? I said, no. Come up. And then Russell in 2005, no, 2003. 2003, I think. Russell bought Dan and Ashley. So Russell bought Ashley and Basil up. I'm telling you the story of my life. Why am I telling the story of my life? I don't know. I was saying he's dead now. Oh, actually, yeah, Tom's joined the army now. That's the point. Tom is in the army. My nephew, Tommy, is joining the army. Royal Corps Signals. I was in the Corps Signals for about 5 weeks. I managed to get myself checked out of the army. I couldn't handle a gun. But anyway, I was saying about something about Jim. Tommy, yeah. Oh, this army thing. Yeah, about this army. About this war in Iraq. Right, you know they've got a war in Iraq. And they've got a war in Afghanistan, yeah? Jim? Jim, you know they've got this war in Iraq, yeah? Well, let's talk about war. Hey, James. Let's talk about the army right now, Jim. The army is fighting a war in Iraq, isn't it, Jim? And it's fighting a war in Iraq. And the army is fighting a war in Afghanistan. Why, Jim? James. Why the fuck is the army fighting in Iraq? What for? Literally, Jim, you're a soldier. James, you're a soldier. Now tell me, why the fuck are we fighting a war in the Middle East? James? Why are we sending kids off to Iraq to get their arms and legs blown off? Why? James, my question, why? Why do we send teenagers to Iraq? James, I am very afraid. I'm very worried about Tom, Jim. And I know Jim is very worried about Tom too. The point is, these soldiers who get sent off to Iraq, you know, these soldiers who get sent off to Iraq or sent off to Afghanistan, don't they? Are soldiers, teenage boys, basically, who like to fire guns. For the most part, soldiers are teenage boys who like to play with guns. Am I lying? Most soldiers are teenage boys who like to shoot things and play with guns. You are sending teenagers, 18 years old, 19 years old, or whatever. You are sending teenagers off to Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan or whatever, these Middle Eastern countries. And they get their arms and legs blown off, don't they? And let's face it, a lot of these soldiers who go to Iraq, a lot of these soldiers who go to Afghanistan, they are teenage boys. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You are sending teenage boys off to Iraq and Iran. And they get their arms and their legs blown off, don't they? Because there's these bombs and shit in Iraq and stuff. And they get their arms and legs blown off. And then they come back to Britain, right? They come back home to Britain. I'm a soldier, I'm a hero. I did what I could. Except now I've only got one arm and half a leg. I'm a soldier, I fought for my country. What are you really fighting for your country? Are you really fighting for Britain? If you have to go to Iraq to fight for your country, are you fighting for Britain? What the fuck are you fighting for? Who the fuck are you fighting for? English children, British children, 18, 19, yeah, still children. 95, still children. But you're getting your arms and legs blown off in this fucking Iraqi war, Afghanistan war. I'm very scared about Thomas, Jim. So Jim is my big brother, my very big brother. So Jim is my very big brother, my boss. Alright, Jim, I'm scared shitless, and I'm very worried a little bit about Tom. Because Tom's in the army, isn't he, Jim? So Jim, Tom's joined the army, yeah? So, but he could get sent to Afghanistan, or he could get sent to Iraq. What's Iraq got to do with Britain, Jim? So James, Jim, my brother. Hold on. Hello? No, you're banned, mate. Too late, mate. Too late. I'm in fucking trouble. Hold on. I'm in a film. No, but I'm very worried, Jim, about Tom. Because if Tom gets sent to Afghanistan, or Tom gets sent to Iraq, you know, because he's a soldier now. He's in the army, like Tom is in the army. And I'm fucking worried about him, man. Because loads of kids, 20, 21, well, they get sent home and they lose their arms and legs, man. You know what I mean? It's a bit serious, isn't it? Answer that. I'm telling you, making a movie. Oh, no one's there. Sorry. But I'm scared shitless of losing my nephew, like. Look, I'm making a film, but you've done something stupid, man. Jack, you can't come up here anymore because of the fact that you shoved pepperoni wrappers into the lift. Yeah, you shoved pepperoni. Look, I'm losing my flat. I nearly lost my flat because of this, man. You shoved the fucking pepperoni fucking wrappers in the lift. What the fuck is going on in your head, mate? No, fuck off. Alright, I've had enough, mate. Alright? Oh, shut up. I'm busy. Anyway, yeah, I'm saying it's because I'm very worried because I'm nearly losing my flat as well. But these fucking soldiers that come back from Afghanistan, right? What's Afghanistan got to do with Britain? In reality, Afghanistan and Iraq are the Middle East, right? The Middle East. That's the other side of the fucking world, man. Other side of the world, the Middle East. It's the other side of the fucking world, right? And we send our soldiers off to Afghanistan to fight a war in the Middle East. Why? Why? That's the other side of the fucking world. They're no threat. They're no threat to us. And people get their arms and legs blown off. And they have to come back to England. And then they have to rely on this help for heroes. What gets me, these soldiers get sent off to fight a pointless war. They say like Afghanistan or whatever. Which has nothing to do with us. It's the other side of the world. And then the soldiers have got no arms or legs or whatever. Have to rely upon charity. The soldiers come back from Afghanistan or Iraq or Iran or whatever. And they have to rely upon charity. And the soldiers have to beg for mercy. For this help for heroes. Charity. The government do not give a fuck about soldiers. Swear to God, your government does not give a fuck about the soldiers. Help the heroes is a charity. Yeah? Alright. But the soldiers come back from Afghanistan with one arm or half a leg or whatever. And the soldiers come back from Iraq with their legs missing or their arms missing. And the government doesn't do anything for them. Oh look, here's a soldier come back from Iraq. He's got one arm, one leg. And the government does not give a fuck about them. Therefore they have to rely upon this charity. So the soldiers are relying on charity. Hang on. The government sends the soldiers to Iraq, right? The government sends the soldiers to Iraq. The soldiers get their arms and their legs blown off. And they come back to Britain. They come back to Britain. And the government ignores them. And they have to rely upon charity. Hang on, the government sent the soldiers to Iraq. The government sent the soldiers to Afghanistan or whatever. Soldiers come back with their arms and legs missing. The government don't give a fuck. And the soldiers have to rely on help for heroes. The soldiers have to rely on charity. Don't you think it is a bit sick that soldiers come back from a war with their arms and legs missing, and then they have to rely upon charity, help for heroes. I just had my leg blown off, Mr. Prime Minister. Help for heroes. Charity is sick. The government sends you off to Afghanistan, which has nothing to do with us, and they send you off to Iraq. You come back with your legs and arms missing, and then you have to rely upon charity. Now, isn't that a bit sick? That if you go to a war and get your arms and legs blown off, you come back home and you have to rely upon charity. A soldier in 2015 goes to war in Iraq or Iran, wherever, gets his arms and legs blown off. And then a soldier comes back to Britain with one arm and half a leg. And the government don't give a fuck. Sincerely, the government really don't give a fuck. And then you have to spend the rest of your life relying on charity, help for heroes. I hate charity. Charity is an excuse for a millionaire to stay famous. So charity is an excuse for a millionaire to stay famous. End of story.